Hi everyone, it's Mike here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time for week 28 for Mission Inspiration, and this week's prompt is numbers. So let me read through the prompt for you. So it says, embrace the language of the universe, where each digit holds meaning. Like a cosmic code, let numbers guide and enlighten you. Navigate with awareness, for in the patterns and sequences find insights and clarity. Celebrate the harmony in numbers where logic meets intuition, revealing the hidden truths and the intricate design of your journey. That one nearly stumbled me up, didn't it? Nearly tripped me up. So yeah, numbers. So today I'm going to be working on this side of the page, because that was week 27, which was that one which we did last week. So I'm going to be working on this one, but I want to play with my jelly plate today. I got this A4 size jelly plate a while ago, and I've only experimented and played with it a couple of times. Now, I've had jelly plates for quite a few years now, and I've never really kind of got brilliant results with them. Maybe it's just because I'm either using the wrong paints or I'm using the wrong equipment, or whether I'm just completely incompetent and don't know what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure it's probably the fact that I just don't know what I'm doing. So I still want to have a play today, though. I'm going to create for the background on this piece here. I'm going to create a kind of grungy, kind of rusty effect, kind of fresco, old plastery kind of background, which I don't really think you can go wrong on. I did do an experiment yesterday. Instead of using white cardstock, I used craft cardstock, and that's kind of what I got, which is a bit muted, a bit dark. I mean, that was the craft cardstock. I used the back, my roller on the back as well, so it did get kind of a bit soggy, and it is grungy, but I think the craft cardstock was probably the wrong colour base to start off with, because it was a dark colour base to start off with, and very absorbent. Everything's just soaked straight in. But so I thought today on camera I would try and recreate something on white cardstock. So I've got exactly the same paints that I used yesterday. I've got my roller brayer. So let's just get started. So let me just peel that off. So I've got it stuck down to my craft mat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the darker colours first to build up the base. I'm going to work kind of in the middle either way. So I'll just give them a bit of a shake up first. And I'm just going to drop a little bit of black down there, and I'll just kind of, as a base colour, okay, that'll do. And then just let that kind of, see how it starts to break away from the surface. I don't know whether I need to do something with the surface of my jelly plate first, whether it needed cleaning or whether it needed, I don't know, something. But my paint tends to do this on the surface, which I don't mind. I kind of like it. So I'm going to drop that down. And I don't, like I said, I don't particularly want full overall coverage. That's not particularly what I'm going for. I just want a grungy kind of background. It's going to be lots of different layers. And obviously I'm going to get loads of paint on the back as well, so, because I'm bound to get my fingers in it. Give it a second or two, and then we'll peel it off. So that's the first layer. Kind of like that already. So I'm going to leave that black on there, and the next, let's get some of the brown. I also get the feeling that there's a bit of a static charge onto the plate as well, which is a bit weird. just feel when you drop in paint onto it, it kind of does all kinds of like strange wibbly wobbly kind of dances, which is odd. So because I've started with the darker colour, every subsequent layer that I add onto it now is going to go on top of that dark layer. So what the idea is to work dark to light. And I'm not pushing too hard because this is a pretty soft jelly plate. There we go, like that. So the brown's laying on there. So next, let's bring in some lighter colour. So these are all Deco Art Americana paints that I'm using. So the black was the lamp black or ebony. And then I used the dark chocolate. Now I'm going to use true ochre. And again, so when you put paint down on this jelly plate, even when you're rollering it, still tends to stick into those kind of like circly blobs. Alright, and then down again. And this is where I start using the roller on the back, just to kind of press it down. It's getting a bit of a sheen on it, which is nice. Lovely. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean that off, and I'm going to give those layers a little bit of time just to kind of dry a little bit. I'm not going to use my heat gun on the jelly plate because I don't want it drying out. So possibly I need to get some, is it baby oil or whatever it is, some mineral oil, and give the plate, maybe it needs a feed, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know whether it's the paints that cause the pooling, that bubbling, or whether it's the jelly plate itself, or whether it's just something I'm doing. I've watched lots and lots and lots of jelly plate videos, but nobody really kind of sits and goes, all right, before you start using your jelly plate, this is what you need to do. You need to completely cover it in paint, let it sit there for an hour or two, blah, blah, blah. Nobody already gives you a kind of what to do to get started kind of thing. People just launch straight into it or don't even talk at all. They just tend to jump straight in and start doing fabulous pieces of artwork, which I wish I could replicate, but just can't because I'm a numpty. But anyway, there you go. All right, so let me just give this a quick blast with the heat gun and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's now all dried, so it's time now to start adding in some lighter colours. So this time I'm going to bring in some orange. So this is bright orange. So I'm going to drop some of that down, but rather than use the roller this time, I'm going to use a brush. I'll just quickly clean off the brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use brush strokes. Just for that kind of texture. Okay, and then my cardstock. and then down again, and then just run over with the brayer just to get good contact. Okay, see, it's started to get that kind of sand duney effect because it's not soaked into it, it's actually sitting on the surface a bit, which is fine. Don't mind that at all. I'm gonna leave that that orange on there, and now I'm going to start bringing in some green. And again, I'm going to brush it. Drag it down. Create some streaks. And then add this back on. I mean, the cardstock that I'm using is the mixed media cardstock, so perhaps again it might be down to the paper that I'm using. And I know people always say a bad workman always blames his tools, but if you're not using the right equipment to start off with, you know, yeah, see, we're getting there. Again, we're getting there. All right, so I'm going to try and dry that off using the heat gun. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just come back in with some of that brown again. This time I'm just going to go around the edges with it. Right. I suppose I've not really had or allowed myself a lot of time to actually sit and play, because you know you get busy and all that kind of stuff. That's gone around the edges, that's darkened that up a little bit around the edges. So I think I'm going to do the same thing with the black again. Not got much black left. But it's the same with anything. It's practice makes perfect, and it's the same with any bit of material, any kind of process, any art techniques, whether it's watercolors, whether it's oil painting, whether it's collage or anything like that. It all depends on the time that you've got to invest in playing and practicing and getting better. So I suppose it really all depends on how badly you want it. It's the same with anything. How bad do you want it? If you want it bad enough, you'll invest in the time. So that black should work around the edges, creating a little bit of a darker frame. Yeah. Right. I'm going to clean that off. Now, actually, do I want to clean it off? No, I don't want to clean it off. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in with this Sea Aqua, which is a really good substitute for verdigris. And I'm going to put a fair bit down on there. It's all pulling up and pooling. Perhaps I'm working it too much. Who knows? Right, so final layer. I've got this big number stencil. So I'm going to put this on the front. So I've got to remember, turn it the wrong way around. And then we can drop that down. And then when we place the cardstock over the top, like so, and then I'm just going to hold it in place. And hopefully that will have transferred through. Exactly, almost exactly what I wanted. And then, of course, we need to clean the stencil before it dries. But before that happens, I'm just going to do one more pull. But not on the same sheet. And then just grab some scratch paper. This is probably the right thickness that I should have used. And I probably should leave it for a bit longer. I think that'll do it. So, and I can use that on another day. Yay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go clean my stencil off, clean the jelly plate, get the jelly plate put away, and then I'll be back. I'll see you in a little while. All right, so we've had a tidy up and my coffee's got cold. Such is life. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some distressing. So what I want to do is just go kind of round those edges, just to knock that green back a little bit, just where I've caught the edge. Just to kind of give it a little bit more of a distress and grungy feel. Right, so that's the distressing. What I could do also is I could go over and give it a coating of the distress collage medium to get it in focus. There you go. But I don't really want to do that. I want to add just a few other little elements onto the front of this piece. So I've got, from my Digi collection, I've got some faux rusty metal number plates. Is that focusing on those? There we go. Is that better? So I've got these kind of like faux number plates. They're just printed on paper. I've got this collection of nearly 200 of these things, which I thought what I might do is I might put them in a book form and have them printed like I've done some of the papers, call them rusty numbers or something like that. There's, like I said, there's about 200 of them. But I think they probably would work better as smaller rather than larger. So I might have a look at a 6x6 book with all of these in. So you can just literally cut them up and distress them, which is what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm not going to use all 4 of these. In fact, I'm going to use the 2 because I like the colour on there. So I just printed these on just slightly thicker than printer paper because I knew I was going to be sticking them down. And I like the number 4. Great for collages, absolutely great for collages, these. And again, I mean, if you do card making, I mean, these would be absolutely fantastic for men's cards, because you could actually number as well. Somebody's age. I think we'll just use 3. Should we use the 9 or the 6? Can't decide. Let's use the 9. I like this kind of grungy, rusty effect here. So all I'm doing is going around the edges just to hide those raw white edges of the paper. Because I don't particularly want to be able to see the fact that I've cut them out. Obviously you've cut them out of paper, but I don't particularly want to be able to see it. Okay, so I think do you know what? I am gonna use all 4. I'm gonna completely change my mind, as is my want. And is my right, because this is my YouTube channel and my video, and I can do what I want on it. He says. So let's move that there. Have that there, and maybe that there. Yeah, I think we'll do that. All right, let's stick those down. They don't mean anything. No, I don't want all 4. I do not want all 4. I think you're going to lose those numbers in the background if you have all 4 on there. In fact, I might even just use just 2. And put them in the middle. 42, as many of us know, is the answer to the meaning of life. Let's put that in the middle, about there. I could have got my crocodile and punched holes in those as well. Maybe even added some 3D brads, which would have looked cool. But I'm trying to avoid adding too much bulk to my journal because my journal is kind of thick at the moment. That's where it's standing at the moment. We're only halfway through the year. Let's stick that there. Now, of course, you can add any type of numbers. If you've got a stamp, rub-ons, washi tapes, all that kind of stuff, just whack them on. Whack them all on. So, have I got any washi tape to hand that's got numbers on? I have, look. Some numbers there. So maybe I might just add a little bit there. That's got numbers in it. Just because. It doesn't hurt. Right, I like that. So next, little quote, phrase, scissors. Where have my scissors disappeared off to? They were here. Dear me. One of those days again. Oh, there's the there, look. Right. So what I've done is on the computer is I've just printed off a quick quote, a quick phrase, if you like. So thought afterwards, after I'd done this, I thought what would have been fun is if I'd gone back and redone the quote, but instead of using letters in certain areas, so instead of the I used a 1, instead of the B, I used an 8, and instead of the E, I used a 3, instead of the S, I used a 5. I thought about that afterwards. And then, you know what it's like. You kind of like go, yeah, it's done now. I haven't kind of worked out the best place for the quote just yet. Alright, so maybe we break in, we break out, and we put that in the middle. I like it. So that is what we're going to do. All right, so I need a bit of throwing stuff and knocking stuff over. Need a bit of scratch paper just to go over with the glue. Breaking in. And we'll do that one next. And that one in the middle. I desperately need to stock back up on glue sticks. Doing it by the numbers. All right, so now we've got that one done. Like it. I think this one has to be one of my favourites of the year so far. Actually, there's been quite a few favourites. So let's grab some glue. This is why I run out of glue sticks so quickly. There we go. A nice little border all the way around. Cool. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that art journal page today. So if you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page today, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, on screen there is the URL for our Mission Inspiration Facebook group, where we have the weekly art challenges with these prompts every Saturday. So like I said, we're up to week 28, so we've still got another half year or so to go. So there will be a clickable link in the description below the video. Okay, that's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.